Perhaps you've seen it. Maybe in a dream. A murky, forgotten land.
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my second part to some Dark Souls PvP first encounters in the arena. I'm going up against somebody who has an upgraded aura, so the first thing that tells you is this is a PvP player who has 150 wins under his belt. And looking at his setup, I'm not really surprised, because if you look at it, it's a big buff on a big sword, and he's using a chime in his offhand, which tells you he's got a lot of spells there should he need them. It's the dragon chime, so it's the one that requires 50 faith, is it? 50 intelligence? I think it's 50 faith, that one. But I'm chasing him down with a Murakumo, and boom, he hits me there with what looks like one of the resonant spells, but I get the roll backstab off on him, and it does a nice stack of damage, and it takes him out. So, transitioning directly now into a fight on the bridge that I hate, and wow, me and this guy trade Forgotten Sons, or yeah, Forbidden Sons, sorry, and he gets the better of the exchange, having the crystal magic weapon on a pretty big sword. But people might be wondering what my stats are, people might be wondering, you know, what my build is, and a lot of these questions, guys, the reason I'm not answering them and the reason why I'm not indulging them in conversations in the comments is because it's not about that. It's literally just throwing myself into these occasions and having a bit of fun just to test the water. The PvP stuff is going to get much deeper, much more interesting and analytical the more I play. But as it stands, I haven't actually had that much time to play, and hopefully I'm going to be able to change that in the coming week. But you're probably already noting in these videos, if you're new here, because I have noticed there's been quite a lot of traffic of new people as I get absolutely destroyed by soul spears. I believe they were crystal soul spears, so that's why they hurt so much. I have quite a lot of lag, and sometimes it settles down, sometimes it doesn't, and you never really know what type of game you're going to get until you fight. Like that one there, you know, see a dude with an Evelyn. Evelyn's are going to get a real bad reputation in this game just because the amount of people using them egregiously, which there are a lot of defenses to it. A lot of them involve shields, but when you don't have a shield and you're not a patient player, the Evelyn is going to destroy you a lot, so you need to be careful of that. But the main thing to bear in mind from these early impressions of this arena are it's going to be filled with people using setups that you perhaps don't really want to fight. It's just a fact. Like, everybody is making it so that they do the most damage the fastest, because everybody's either going for the wins, they're going for the orbs, or they're just playing that, I don't really want to call it a Call of Duty mentality, but they just want to win. You know, they don't want to fuck about, they don't want to practice, they don't want to get better, they just want to have the biggest stick that hurts the most and win in the least amount of effort. And it's not a bad mentality. This is another person who has an aura. You can tell he's a higher rank than I am in the Covenant, and I'm not too sure what he's doing here. It's that moment where you don't know if he's playing unlocked or if he's lagging, so it's kind of panicky. But do you see how he's using the backstep? Here's a little tip for people who are having trouble really guising the skill of the person they're fighting. If you see a person using the backstep a lot when they cast spells, when they do animations, chances are that person understands the cancelling mechanics of the game. Because what Dark Souls 2 allows you to do in some instances on long-winded attacks and various other things is you're able to cancel the animation after it's started. And if you're playing against somebody who knows what they're doing and they see you do an attack, a lot of the times they'll do a roll. So if you cancel out of that attack and then spring into another one, it can really throw people off. So it's this really interesting mind game, and you're not going to see any of that at this point because, as I've mentioned, this is my first experiences. Nothing fancy, pretty ugly, but a lot of fun in some instances and maybe not so much fun in others. This is a rematch against the same guy, and it's coming down to the wire here. He has the magics, I have the really powerful pyromancy, and I'm chasing him down really aggressively, and unfortunately, oh, I thought I'd lost. Shit, I won apparently, but my hit was super late just then, so I could have easily, you know, gone the wrath of a double KO, but we managed to avoid it, which is always fun. This is somebody who's bowing. Not too sure how I feel about stuff like that when you're in the arena. I'm so used to people using everything they can to win that when you do see somebody bow, it's kind of interesting. But that dude is a legend for that. That is easily one of the most fun invasions or arena fights I had, because he was using such a creative weapon, and he ended up doing a move that made him run off the edge. And it was one of those things where I sent him a message saying, dude, that's probably the best thing I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And he was a really nice person, so I was glad to catch him again so we could have a proper fight instead of worrying about falling off. He's using a weapon I really like. It's one of the Vengal weapons. It's the Red Rust Straight Sword, I think it's called. It reminds me of the Hard Edge from Final Fantasy VII, and it's got a Falchion swing from the original Dark Souls. It does some really nice horizontal cleaves, and I think I'm going to do a dual wield build using that. But as you can see, he's using the Lancers, and I've read a few comments on my channel recently of people saying Lancers are god tier because they stun lock incredibly well. But at the same time, it needs a lot of skill to understand when to use them and when not to use them. So I wouldn't be too quick to judge, you know, a person using that weapon, because you never know if they're just having some fun with it or if they actually know what they're doing with it. But that's the end of, unfortunately, a little bit of a short footage there. But as always, folks, thank you for watching. More will be coming, and I'll continue to hopefully improve and understand this game a little bit better than I do right now. So yeah, thank you, and you take care now.